is 2 minutes past 6. My name is Michelle Ukegbu.
And I'm blessed, Ogbonna.
Former President Jonathan rejects APC presidential form.
Nuns direct students to block roads, airports, orders daily for 3 days.
Senate amends Electoral Act to allow President and others to vote in primary.
Buhari urges World Bank, AFDB on $19 billion One Planet initiative.
UN to hold another meeting on Ukraine.
Plus, Pochettino claims Messi is suffering from bad luck.
Remember, you can log on to www.ozisaradio.com to listen to the news live in any part of the world. You can also follow this news broadcast live on our social media handles on Facebook, Ozisa 96.1 FM, and on YouTube, Ozisa 96.1 FM TV. Reports say former President Goodluck Jonathan has rejected the presidential form of the All Progressives Congress purchased for him on Monday by a group of his supporters from the north. This was made known by Dr. Jonathan's media advisor, Ukegbu, hours after the news filtered into public domain. According to the statement from the ex-president's quarters, Dr. Jonathan was not aware of this bid and did not authorize it. In recent months, there have been increased speculations about whether the former president will run for presidency in the 2023 January elections, and there have been calls for him to do so. Although he is not a member of the APC, speculations have intensified in recent weeks that he is set to switch from the People's Democratic Party to contest for president in 2023. Interestingly, the former president has not been definite, but has kept his plans close to his chest while weighing options. However, hours after former President Goodluck Jonathan publicly rejected the All Progressives Congress presidential expression of interest and nomination forms, Secretary of the Fulani Group, Usman Mohammed, has vowed that Jonathan will leave the country without accepting it.
Gunmen have invaded the premises of St. X Catholic Church at Ikota Basiaban in the Mbang-Enin local government area of Akwa Ibom State and abducted the Prince Alphonsus Obo. This is coming barely 19 days after a popular televangelist and founder of the Solid Rock Kingdom Church, Pastor John Okoriko, was abducted in the same community and later released after 4 days. A source told newsmen on Monday that the hoodlums arrived at the church premises around 7 p.m. on Sunday in a motorcycle convoy and forced their way into the church. It was gathered they shot several times into the air to scare people away before whisking the priest away. Recall that founder of Solid Kingdom Church, Apostle John Okoriko, was abducted in his residence a few weeks ago. A youth leader who spoke on condition of anonymity decried the high level of insecurity in the community, adding that residents no longer feel safe. However, the state police public relations officer, Odiko Magdon, confirmed the latest abduction and hinted that the state commissioner of police, Andrew Ahiheme, had ordered that the victim be rescued.
In another development, the National Association of Nigerian Students has directed all its structures and organs to block all federal roads in protest against the continued shutdown of public universities in the country. Against the backdrop of the extension of the warning strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, NANS asked the students to ensure the roads are blocked daily for at least 3 hours until the federal government resolves its impasse with the aggrieved lecturers. NANS National Public Relations Officer Victor Ezenago declared the mass action as Operation Test Run today during a television program and directs the mass action to begin immediately. Recall that academic activities have been grounded in public universities across the country following a warning strike by ASU in February. But interestingly, political activities have been going on in full gear unhindered. Some of the issues that led to the industrial action include renegotiations of the 2009 agreement, payment system for members, and revitalization of the nation's universities, among others.
Moving on, the Senate has amended the Electoral Act 2022 to allow all those elected to participate and vote in the conventions, congresses, or meetings of political parties. This followed the expeditious consideration of a bill during plenary today, which scaled first, second, and third readings respectively, and was passed by the chamber after consideration by the Committee of the Whole. Those identified as statutory delegates include the President, Vice President, members of the National Assembly, governors and their deputies, members of the state houses of assembly, chairmen and councillors, and National Working Committee of Political Parties, among others. The bill to amend the 2022 Electoral Act No. 13 was sponsored by the Deputy Senate President, Omo Agege. According to him, the provision of this section does not provide for the participation of what is generally known as statutory delegates in the conventions, congresses, or meetings of political parties, but calls it an error that needs to be corrected. Speaking after the bill to amend the 2022 Electoral Act was passed, the Senate President, Ahmed Lawal, in his remarks, said the amendment became imperative in view of the deficiency created by the provision of Section 84, subsection 8 of the extant Acts.
Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, will next week, Wednesday, appear at the Federal High Court in Abuja in continuation of his bid to get bail. Ifeanyi Ejiofor, the secessionist lawyer, disclosed this after a routine meeting between Kanu and his legal team at the headquarters of the Department of State Services, DSS, in Abuja on Monday. Ejiofor disclosed that details of the legal team's engagement with Kanu could not be made public because some enemies may use it against him. According to Ejiofor, Onyendu is very firm in his conviction and unshaken in his resolve for a better tomorrow for Umu Chineke, and charges his numerous supporters not to derail or despair, for victory shall come. He said Kanu is particularly enthused about the peaceful conduct of Umu Chineke and encourages them to keep it up. The next court date is the 18th of May 2022.
And now to the business scene. President Muhammad Buhari has urged the World Bank, African Development Bank, and other partners to support the One Planet Summit initiative and activate the $19 billion pledge, which will be utilized for land restoration, tree planting, development of climate resilience infrastructure, and development in small and medium-sized farms. Buhari spoke in Abidjan, the Côte d'Ivoire capital, on Monday, during conference of parties convened by United Nations, where he explained that interventions like this will help stabilize the region. According to a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Malam Gaba, the president informed the meeting that the drying up of the Lake Chad had destroyed fish farming, animal husbandry, and crop agriculture, leading to a social and economic dislocation with serious consequences for peace in the basin area. At the select meeting, which included international and development partners, Buhari said the fund would also support smallholder farmers, create institutional framework to enhance security, stability and governance, and capacity building that will foster growth in the region.
And from the foreign scene, reports say the UN Security Council is expected to hold a new public meeting on Thursday on Russia's war in Ukraine in light of the continuing worsening of the humanitarian situation. The session, requested by France and Mexico, will be the 16th held by the Security Council since the Russia invasion of February 24th as part of an effort by Western states to maintain pressure on Russia, which, as a permanent member of the Council, has the power to block measures it disapproves of. The meeting comes after the bombing at the weekend of a school in eastern Ukraine, in which 60 civilians were killed, according to Kyiv. It will be held on the same day as an extraordinary session in Geneva of the UN Human Rights Council, requested by Ukraine, on the dwindling fortunes of the human rights situation in Ukraine.
And finally, from the sports scene, Paris Saint-Germain manager Mauricio Pochettino has insisted that forward Lionel Messi is suffering from bad luck this season. Messi completed a free transfer to PSG from his boyhood club, Barcelona, last summer and has had a below-performance season. The seven-time Ballon d'Or winner has been slammed by PSG fans and the media following a disappointing first season at the Parc des Princes, where he could not replicate what he's known for. The Argentina captain had scored just 4 League One goals this season and have performed poorly even as PSG were eliminated from the Champions League at the hands of Real Madrid in the rounds of 16. Pochettino has quoted to have said ill luck has dealt with Lionel Messi, making all his efforts less productive and abysmal.
And that ends the news as edited by Chinedu Izanako. My name is Michelle Ukegbu.
And I'm Blessing Ogbonna. Good evening.